All right, so we're here with Alison Cayne, the founder of Haven's Kitchen and also host of the In the Sauce podcast. So, Alison, welcome to be interviewed with the Food Institute.
Thank you so much for having me. This is really fun in the middle of this big show, just to have this little quiet corner.
Awesome. So, Alison, tell us a little bit about Haven's Kitchen, what the company does, what it makes, and what your experience has been here at Fancy Food thus far.
Yeah, I mean, Haven's Kitchen started in 2012 as a recreational cooking school. I opened in Chelsea, in New York City, about 3 blocks away from the farmers market. And I had I was in a master's program for food systems and sustainability. And I just really wanted to teach people how to cook, because cooking is good for you, for your family, for the environment. People who cook more make better choices about the meat that they buy and the produce that they buy.
Right.
There's all sorts of, correlations between home cooking and hunger. And it seemed to me like people just needed to know more. There's like a fear and loathing around cooking. That sort of over 8 years morphed into making these sauces because our students were requesting them. They said, I can grill a steak, I can, stir fry tofu, but what really gives it the flavor and what's really the hardest work is the sauce.
Right.
And the options, in 2017 were very shelf stable, loaded with preservatives, salt, sodium. There was some movement into sort of more organic and better for you, but not fresh and not in flavors like chimichurri and golden tahini. So we launched in 14 New York City Whole Foods in 2018. I consequently closed the cooking school in the pandemic. And now we've grown, I don't even know how to calculate thousands of percentages.
Wow, congratulations.
Since then. So it's been quite a ride. And it's great to see all these people out and about. And, business doesn't stop just because people are working at home, especially in food and beverage. It's been a really tough couple of years, I think, for a lot of different segments of this industry, and it's really nice to see that there's eagerness to be back together.
Wow, well, congratulations on all the success.
Thank you.
It must have been extraordinarily difficult to not only start a company, but to build it, to launch it, have to deal with the pandemic.
Yeah.
So how, what's your advice to other entrepreneurs here? This is their first fancy food, right? So what's your advice to these entrepreneurs that want to launch and experience the same type of success that you've had?
Yeah, I think there are a few fundamentals that have only gotten more fundamental. I always think about the 3 little pigs. And there are these 3 little pigs. One builds a house of brick, one builds a straw, one builds a wood. They all look the same from the outside, but when the big bad wolf comes and blows, 2 of them fall down and one of them's still standing. The little pig who made the brick of the house of bricks kind of got some flack. Oh, you're too focused. You're too much of a nervous Nelly. But I think what we're learning now is that those fundamentals, strong margins, good team, lots of cash for runway, those are things that were true in 2018, but they're even more true now.
Right.
So when I took some of my brick and mortar learnings, and even though I wasn't, kind of like launching big marketing campaigns and, kind of out and about in a way, I think that I was behind the scenes making sure that I had not only secondary suppliers on my supply chain, but tertiary suppliers, that there was a plan B, a plan C, a plan D, that I was loaded up with cash just in case something happened. And more than ever now, this environment is proving some of those business fundamentals to be even more critical.
Awesome. No, I love the fact that you focus on the fundamentals. I'm a fundamentals guy.
Yeah.
So I definitely appreciate that. You're also a board member of Naturally New York.
I am.
And there's a pitch slam that's happening at the show. So tell us a little bit about that and your experience being a board member.
Yeah, the Naturally Network has been around for a long time. It's it's the genesis of a lot of great products. It's been a really beautiful community for founders and people in the sort of natural food industry and also beauty and just CPG in general. I think of food first. For years, and New York finally has our own chapter. So this is our inaugural year, and what's a chapter of Naturally New York without a pitch slam? So we have a bunch of really, really great, exciting entrepreneurs pitching their products and some great judges. And I'll just be working the booth, and cheering them on from the sidelines. So it's exciting.
Awesome. That's great. And my last question is related to your podcast.
Yes.
So In the Sauce podcast, tell us a little about that and what the genesis is and who you're trying to reach in terms of an audience.
Yeah, I mean, it really started because, we had our first purchase order for Whole Foods and Fresh Direct in March 2018. And I assumed we had a few weeks before the second one. And lo and behold, 48 hours later, we got an order for 4 times what we had originally done. And basically, it got me on the floor crying. So I started interviewing people in the industry. It felt selfish, candidly, not to share these interviews with people who could really use them.
Right.
It's been 160 episodes, 4 years, and I'm hoping to save people a little bit of time, a little bit of money, a little bit of heartache, just by sparing them some mistakes that we all make along the way with some experts.
Well, I love that you're investing back into the community.
Yeah.
Alison, thank you so much for interviewing.
Thank you for having me. This is really fun. Thank you. Take care.
Thanks.